In today's video, we unbox the classic HeroQuest tabletop miniatures game developed by Milton Bradley and Games Workshop over 30 years ago. It's old school adventure in a world of magic. Well, hi folks, this is Lee from skirmishwargames.com. I'm here with Lynn.
Hello.
And we are in the middle of a rolling thunderstorm, so this should be kind of interesting. So if you hear thunder and lightning and barking dogs in the background, that's not special effects, that's real life. But we'll carry on regardless. So today we're going to take a look at HeroQuest, the classic board game from Milton Bradley, designed in conjunction with Games Workshop. And as we go through this, I'm sure we're going to find a lot of these minis have sort of a GW type flair. And this is kind of interesting because HeroQuest originally came out around 1989, and recently Hasbro has rebooted it. So they did some kind of a, not a Kickstarter, but a crowdfunding campaign on something called Hasbro Pulse. They got almost $4 million worth of funding for it, and it should be coming out in fall 2021. And so it's kind of interesting in that it retains some of the old visual elements, like I think the board and the Game Master screen, and even the cover, while not exactly the same, kind of harken back to the original HeroQuest. But a lot of the other stuff, like the sculpts and the game cards and the character classes, there's a lot of new stuff in there. So that was not designed with any help from GW, so they kind of went their own way. And what's interesting is the new HeroQuest is put out under the Avalon Hill label, and Avalon Hill being sort of a legendary war game designer from way back. And so over time, Hasbro, I believe, sort of absorbed Milton Bradley, Avalon Hill, Parker Brothers, and a bunch of other things, I'm sure. And eventually they retired Milton Bradley as a brand name, as well as Parker Brothers, but they retained Avalon Hill. So the new HeroQuest coming out later this year is going to be under the logo of Avalon Hill, a subsidiary of Hasbro, because Milton Bradley doesn't exist as a logo anymore. So there you go. So that'll be interesting to see when that comes out, because I'm sure that'll introduce a whole new generation to HeroQuest and also have sort of a nostalgic appeal to some of the old timers. So I myself did not get a copy of HeroQuest back when I was a kid, but I've always been curious about it. So I indulged myself, got a used copy on eBay for a reasonable price, and it appears to be in pretty good shape. And so we're going to open that up today and take a look at some of the pieces with an eye toward maybe playing some HeroQuest on our upcoming live streams. If, Lynn, you'd be interested in that. You can play an elf or a dwarf or a barbarian or a wizard, and you crawl through the dungeon trying to complete various quests.
I will probably be a wizard.
You can probably play more than one. This game is designed for 2 to 5 players, one of them being sort of a game master. And I think you actually need to have at least a couple characters on the board to have a decent chance of finishing the quest. Now, I'd read something online, I think from one of the game designers, that said this game was kind of designed with 10-year-olds in mind. So if more mature players were playing and they work together, they can defeat the quest pretty easily. But 10-year-olds tended to go their own way and play competitively. So they might have 4 characters on the board and kind of scatter trying to get loot and maybe not focus on working together to accomplish the quest. But if you just have one person playing a couple different characters, they should be able to do the job. So we shall see. All right, well, let's take a look and see what all the fuss is about here. Let's flip it over first. Take a look at the back. Okay, enter the world of HeroQuest, if you dare. So this should be kind of a dungeon crawler light, loaded with plastic figures, some terrain pieces that would have to be assembled, but I think the previous owner probably put them together. Some cards, some rule books, quest book, and stuff like that. So,
And there's more quests available later.
more quests available later. There was a number of expansions put out for HeroQuest, as well as an advanced HeroQuest, which kind of had a meatier rule set. But we have basic HeroQuest, and I think some of those expansions are kind of expensive now and harder to find. So I don't know if we'll be getting into that. But designed with Games Workshop, and so there's the pedigree. So Games Workshop worked with Milton Bradley on Battle Masters as well. Remember that big kind of mass combat game that had a big vinyl mat you laid out on the floor?
And the big ogre.
And the big ogre, which you painted. So yeah, but Games Workshop, as I understand, will not be participating in the latest incarnation of HeroQuest. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. So here are the assembly instructions. So this guy here looks like he might be a Balrog or a Bloodthirster or something, but in this game he's actually a gargoyle, which I assume is less threatening, less demonic than a Bloodthirster. Oh, there goes. I said Bloodthirster and yeah, thunder went off, so there you go. And then a lot of these little terrain pieces had to be put together, but I think the previous owner probably did that for us. So that is HeroQuest assembly instructions. Here's our game board. I'm going to pull this out real quick. Take a look at it. Let's set that up. All right, I'm going to pull that down here. All right, so here is the game board. And from what I saw online about the new version of HeroQuest, the game board looks pretty similar. So they pulled some elements, probably for the sake of continuity and nostalgia, and kind of kept them more or less the same. But then some of the other stuff, like the sculpts, are going to be very different. So there's the quest book. Lynn, you can't look at that right now, and there's the instruction book. So in this game, some of the players are going to represent heroes who are delving into the dungeon to try to complete the quest, while one player is the game master, and he or she kind of knows where all the secrets are in the dungeon. So as the heroes explore the dungeon, certain creatures or objects will come into line of sight, and then the players will have to decide, are they going to search for traps, fight the monster, loot the chest, things of that nature. And again, this is a pre-owned copy, so whoever sold this to us did a fairly good job of packing everything up. So everything looks nice and tidy. I'm assuming it's 100% complete, but I guess we'll find out. So there's the furniture, some of the different tiles, like the stair tile and blocked areas and pit traps and things like that. Short sword, helmet. These are some of the things you can buy from the armory once you collect some gold, so you can increase the potency of your character. Lightning just went off. Here comes the thunder.
Shake the house.
Yeah, it shook the house there. Hope we don't float away. Okay, so again, this bubble wrap is from the person who sold it to us, and they were conscientious about packing everything up. So why don't we sort of gently open all that stuff up. Looks like that's our terrain here. There. So here are some of the quest packs, the expansion packs we were talking about, and we don't have any of these, and I bet they're pretty expensive now. Available October 1991, it says. Here are the character cards. So there's the barbarian, the elf, the dwarf,
And the wizard.
and the wizard. So you'll have to decide which two you want to play. And here is the Game Master screen, so that the person playing the evil wizard can hide behind it and look at his cheat sheet here, which is great. That's very thoughtful. Okay, some HeroQuest dice. I think these have to do with attack and defense. So like you roll, and if you get skulls, it's a couple of damage points on your adversary, and if you roll shields, then if they're attacking you, you might be able to block a couple. So we got a whole book of character sheets here. I think we'll just use dice on the table to indicate the number of hit points when we get around to it, but that's quite a lot of character sheets there. And then these must be spell cards and stuff. Ah, there's quite a few spells for this game. And then adversary cards. So these are the cards for the various creatures that will be hiding in the dungeon to attempt to thwart the heroes and prevent them from achieving their quests. And then, treasure cards maybe. Health potion, elixir of life, wand of magic, wizard's staff, orc's bane, wizard's cloak, spirit blade, spell ring, ring of return. So yeah, so
I like treasures.
gold, jewels, potion of healing, hazard, wandering monster. All right, this looks like it could be fun. It says for ages 10 and above. We're above. We're above 10.
Yes, we are.
You want to set up some terrain just for the heck of it?
Yeah.
So these are the terrain pieces, and normally these would require some assembly, but it looks like previous owner did the work for us. So hopefully we have more or less everything we need. So there's some kind of a cabinet. Here is a bookshelf, some kind of a crypty thing there.
Oh, this might be a spell book.
Table and chairs.
Key. Keys are important.
A rack of weapons. Everybody's favorite, the treasure chest. Fireplace.
Ooh, a torture.
Yeah, a rack with a rat on it. And then a bunch of doors. I got lots and lots of doors.
Some open, some closed.
Some open, some closed. I suppose once you find a door, you can open it, and then it becomes an open door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice three-dimensional terrain for a board game style game. Not too shabby. All right, let's scooch this kind of back, and we will dump out our various characters.
Characters and monsters.
Here are the monsters.
And probably our characters.
No, the characters are over here. They're separate.
Okay.
All right, so.
And tiles.
Oh,
there's
tiles.
The stairs.
Yeah.
There's the stairs.
So we got some of our tiles. This guy is like a femur or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's a GW creation. So he's kind of a cyclope type lizard guy with a club on his tail. This is the evil wizard here. He's the big bad, I guess, of this whole affair. That's the gargoyle. So he is not a Balrog. He is not a bloodthirster. He is a gargoyle in this game. Yeah, sure. Sure he is. Orcs. A variety of orcs. They're not all the same sculpt. We'll show you the orcs here in a minute. Here's another one of those guys, those clubtail guys. Goblins. More orcs. Chaos Warrior. So if we were super motivated, we'd probably paint all these guys, but I think we're just going to leave them as is to stay with the original spirit of the game. And here's our characters. There's the barbarian. I think this must be the elf, the dwarf, and perhaps the wizard. That must be the wizard there. Now these guys, for the sake of the video, the live streaming video, I think that might be fun to maybe take some stuff you've already painted and swap it out.
Yeah.
For the heroes. I'm not going to, get into painting all these guys right now. We get other stuff going on, but definitely we have in inventory people who could be swapped in, minis who could be swapped in for the heroes. So maybe pick a couple of those. And we said we'd show you the orcs. So here are the orc sculpts. I like the fact that they actually give you several different sculpts. So there's one with a cleaver, one with a ball and chain, and one with a saber. And then the goblins, you got one goblin with an axe, one with a saber, and one with sort of a regular short sword. The skeletons all look about the same. They all have the scythe. And the zombies are pretty much the same. They all have their cleaver and the mummies. A couple of chaos warriors. And yeah, and then there's the evil wizard. Now, several months ago, we purchased a Warhammer Fantasy / Mordheim blind box, a box full of bits and such. And I think some of the stuff that was in there are actual HeroQuest minis, maybe from some of the expansions. So we have a couple more gargoyles. This guy's complete. Then there's another evil wizard. There's another chaos warrior. And these guys here, though, look kind of original. So I'm not exactly sure what they are, but I think one of the expansions kind of had a winter theme. So maybe he's some kind of an ice goblin or an ice imp or something, because that might be an icicle, but I don't know for sure. All right, so that is the HeroQuest Creature Menagerie, and we got to give them kudos for one, using different colored plastics for the various heroes and monsters, so that's something. And also for making different sculpts for some of the monsters that appear more often, like the orcs and the goblins. So yeah, thank you for that. All right then, well, fingers crossed. We have all the pieces here we need to play the game. And I don't know if this is going to lend itself to live streaming that well, but we will give it a bloody go and pay homage to a classic game from 30 years ago. All right, Lynn, so what are you thinking? Maybe a dwarf, maybe an elf, maybe a wizard?
Probably a dwarf and a wizard.
All right, then, a dwarf and a wizard, and you're going to proxy some of your own minis in. But hopefully, working together with a coordinated effort, they'll be able to complete the quests. And if they aren't, if you end up getting stomped by a bunch of goblins, then you can always add a third player in there, a third character, to put you over the top. So
That's right. Maybe the elf will come to our rescue.
maybe the elf will come to the rescue. Absolutely. All right, folks, that is our look at the classic HeroQuest tabletop game from Milton Bradley from about 1990, perhaps 1989. And as we mentioned, we plan to live stream this perhaps within a few days. So we'll see if we can pull it all together by then. But until that time, as always, folks, thank you very much for stopping by. If you like the things we do here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up. And of course, please visit us online at our website, skirmishwargames.com. And we will see you in the ruins.
Treasure!
Treasure.